My boyfriend locked me in his car for 2 hours at his sister's wedding, telling me, "My family doesn't need to see your pitiful face and that hideous dress." He took my phone and walked off. I'd spent 2 months saving for their wedding gift. When he finally let me in, he introduced me as just a friend and even winked at the bridesmaids. I smiled politely. A few weeks later, he'd left 41 frantic voicemails. I've been dating Raul for 8 months and thought things were going well. Not soulmate perfect, but definitely this could become serious. Yesterday, at his sister's wedding, the disaster that had been brewing finally erupted. Let me start at the beginning, so it's clear why this betrayal cuts so deep. We met by chance, almost like fate at a late-night gallery event. Raul's company was sponsoring a new projection showcase, and the place was packed. In the middle of the show, a thunderstorm knocked out the power. Total darkness, just phone flashlights. As I was feeling my way to the exit, someone ran into me. Raul. He apologized and helped me find the restroom because my contact lens had shifted. When the lights came back, we sat talking in the cafe for hours. He told me my face in the emergency glow was the most beautiful thing he'd ever seen. Who even says that? I melted on the spot. Fast forward to yesterday, Monica's wedding. I still hadn't met his family. In hindsight, red flag number 1. There was always a reason. They were busy, lived across town. The wedding prep was hectic. I spent weeks choosing a dress subtle enough not to upstage the bride, but polished for a good first impression. I picked a dusty rose midi with fine silver embroidery, my nod to our meet cute. I did my makeup, wore the silver pendant Raul gave me for our 6-month mark, and brought the gift. He and Stanley are anime fans who dream of Japan, so I saved for 2 months to add to their travel fund, $1,500 in yen, plus a Kyoto tea ceremony certificate in a hand-painted wooden box. Raul said it was over the top, but I wanted his family to like me. On the day, he picked me up. He seemed tense. I blamed nerves. On the drive to the garden venue, he made odd comments about my dress. "You're wearing that? Don't you think it's a bit much? My family's traditional." I was anxious, but I'd prepared and knew I looked appropriate. We arrived at 2:30 for a 3-hour ceremony. He parked far in the back, under trees, then said, "I need you to wait in the car." I laughed, assuming he was joking. He wasn't. Stone-faced, he added, "They're particular. I have to prepare them before I introduce you." I asked, "They do know I exist, right? We've been together 8 months. He snapped, "My family doesn't need to see your pathetic face and disgusting dress. Stay here." While I was still processing, he pulled my phone from my bag, got out, and locked the car with his fob. I was stuck. Through the windshield, I watched him walk away, carrying my phone and the gift I'd saved for. It was June. The car grew hotter. The doors wouldn't budge. I honked, but we were too far from the venue. I sat there for 2 hours. The ceremony came and went. My makeup ran with tears. I considered breaking a window, but it's basically the only expensive thing he owns, and I kept telling myself there had to be an explanation. Now I know I should have shattered it. He finally returned as if nothing had happened, unlocked the door, and said, "They're ready to meet you." I was wilted, rumpled, and asked for my phone. "Later," he said. Still inventing excuses for him in my head, I followed him into the tent, strung with lights. Monica looked radiant. We reached the couple, I fixed a smile, and he said, "Sis, this is Nadia, just a friend from work." Just a friend. 8 months together, our romantic start, the pendant, dozens of sleepovers, Christmas with my parents, reduced to a friend. He even winked at a bridesmaid, who winked back. Monica looked confused, but it was her wedding day. She greeted me politely and moved on. All evening, he introduced me as a friend from work. The same dismissive tone, eyes scanning for someone more interesting. I smiled and said the right things. What was I going to do? Shout by the cake that he'd locked me in a car for 2 hours? I'm writing this the morning after. He returned my phone, drove me home, and acted like the night was perfect. He even tried to kiss me goodnight. The gift I saved for 2 months is sitting with the others at Monica and Stanley's, with no mention of me. I didn't sleep. I keep replaying everything, wondering if I was just convenient until something better came along. I want to confront him, but I also want to be smart. Part of me wants to message Monica and tell her the truth. Part of me wants to ghost him. Any advice helps. My brain gremlins are in overdrive, and it feels like our relationship fell apart in the worst way. Edit. Thank you for the advice. I'm taking some time to think and will update once I decide what to do. And to everyone asking if this is real, I wish it wasn't. Got it. Here are faithful English rewrites. Same meaning and order, just different wording. For first update, second update, and last update. First update. It's been about 4 weeks since my last post, and things have escalated enough that I owe an update. Thank you to everyone who reached out. Your messages kept me going when I wanted to quit. After that night, when Alan called me disgusting for gaining pregnancy weight, my sister Anne came over and we went through my options. We agreed I should return to the apartment temporarily while I put my affairs in order. Many of you warned me not to tip Alan off until I was fully ready to leave. You were absolutely right. When I came back, Alan pretended nothing had happened. When I brought up his comment, he rolled his eyes and said I was being overly sensitive and it was just a joke. Then he flipped it on me. Apparently, I'd been moody, and he was walking on eggshells. He actually said, "Do you know how hard this pregnancy has been for me?" For him. I nearly snapped, but I stuck to my plan. I took a breath, apologized for overreacting, and blamed fatigue and hormones. He relaxed instantly. He thought he'd won, that things were back to normal. He had no idea I'd already consulted a divorce attorney. This past month has been one of the hardest of my life. I've been living a double life, outwardly the apologetic pregnant wife, while quietly preparing to leave. What I've done so far: kept a detailed log of Alan's behavior dates, times, exact quotes. I also discreetly recorded a few conversations when he was especially cruel. My lawyer says it could help in court. My paycheck has always gone to my personal account, thank goodness, but I moved my direct deposit to an entirely different bank. Gradually transferred money from our joint account to my private one in small amounts, essentially reclaiming what I've contributed. Discovered a credit card in my name I never knew about, with over $5,000 charged for his gaming PC and other items. I filed a fraud report and submitted proof it wasn't me. Collected all vital documents, birth and marriage certificates, bank statements, tax returns, and stored them somewhere safe outside the apartment. With Anne's help, found a small 2-bedroom on the ground floor in a secure building. I signed the lease last week. It's not fancy, but it's clean, safe, and mine. Quietly packed essentials and moved truly important items to Anne's when Alan was out, nothing obvious enough to raise suspicion. Bought a burner phone he doesn't know exists. My regular phone stays with me and acts normal, but the backup can't be tracked. Doing this while 8 months pregnant is exhausting. My ankles swell constantly, my back aches, and the baby seems to be practicing parkour on my ribs and bladder. But every step toward freedom gives me strength. The hardest part has been pretending everything's fine, cooking for him, laughing at his jokes, listening to him complain about bandmates, watching him game for hours while I handle everything else. Even sleeping next to him makes my skin crawl now that I've stopped gaslighting myself about who he is. He's gotten worse, too. Believing I've accepted his behavior, the mask has slipped further. Last week he invited his gaming buddies over without notice. I'd just gotten home and was lying down with back spasms. He came into the bedroom and told me to make myself useful and order pizzas. When I said I was in pain, he sighed. Pregnancy isn't a disability. Women have done it forever. My mom worked until the day before she had me. A lie. She was on bed rest the last month. I checked. The guys heard everything. One looked uncomfortable, but no one spoke up. I ordered pizzas from bed and paid myself. When they arrived, he yelled for me to get the door because they were mid-match. I shuffled past them in pajamas, paid the courier, set out plates, and they ignored me. Around 2 a.m., after they left a mess, he crawled into bed and tried to initiate sex. When I said I was exhausted, he replied, "Come on, you don't have to do anything, just lie there like usual." I cried silently in the bathroom and reminded myself this was temporary. The plan: I'm moving out next weekend while Alan is at his parents' for his dad's birthday. He'll be gone overnight enough time to get everything done, with help from my sister, 2 close friends, and, surprisingly, his younger brother Rory, who witnessed one of Alan's blow-ups last month and secretly offered to help. My lawyer has the divorce packet ready. I'll freeze the joint account, take what's mine, leave the papers, and a detailed note explaining why I'm leaving, and be gone before he returns. I'm scared. I wake in the night with my heart racing, wondering if I can really do it. Then my daughter kicks, and I know I must. I refuse to raise her where her mother is disrespected daily. I won't let her think this is love. My doctor says my blood pressure is elevated from stress, so I need to take it easy this final month. Ironically, planning the exit is stressful now, but necessary for my long-term health. I've started virtual therapy with a specialist in relationship trauma and pregnancy. It's incredibly validating. This is real emotional abuse, and I deserve better. I'll update after go time. Wish me luck. Edit. This post is blowing up while I'm at my appointment. I'll answer questions later. Thanks for the support. Update, same day. Alan just texted, "What's for dinner?" I'm literally at a prenatal visit he skipped for a very important band practice. Translation: garage jamming with beers. Yet I'm still expected to provide dinner. To avoid suspicion, I'll grab takeout. 4 more days until he leaves for his parents. 4 more days of pretending. I can do this. Oh, and baby girl is measuring perfectly with a strong heartbeat. Not that he asked. She's doing gymnastics in there. I think she knows a better life is coming. Yesterday, while Alan gamed, shocker, I secretly ordered the cutest crib for my new place shipping to Anne's next week. This morning, getting ready for work, I caught my reflection and actually smiled. Not because I look amazing, 8 months pregnant and tired here, but because I recognize myself again. The spark is coming back. Last night, I rehearsed the note I'll leave for Alan. It felt cathartic to put his behavior into plain words. No more excuses, no minimizing, just the truth about who he is and why I'm leaving. I'm still scared to do this alone. Single motherhood wasn't the plan, but staying would cost me my self-respect and eventually my sanity. What kind of mother would that make me? 4 more days. Then freedom. Second update, it's done. I'm out. I'm writing this from my new apartment, surrounded by boxes and a half-assembled crib. And despite the chaos, I feel a calm I haven't felt in years. As planned, Alan left yesterday morning for his dad's birthday, 3 hours away. He was in rare good spirits, probably thrilled to escape pregnant wife duty. He kissed me goodbye, told me not to do anything crazy, and said he'd be back Sunday evening. The moment his car turned the corner, Operation Exit began. Anne arrived with her SUV 10 minutes later, then my friend Mia, with a small workbox truck. Alan's younger brother Rory showed up soon after, nervous but determined. We had 32 hours to move me out completely. We went room by room, following the inventory I'd built for weeks. First my personal items and clothing he wouldn't immediately notice, then baby items I'd purchased, then furniture clearly mine from before the relationship. Rory handled the heavy lifting. Halfway through, carrying my dresser, he paused and said, "Alan's my brother, but what he's doing to you is wrong. Mom raised us better." I almost cried in the hallway. The most satisfying moment was disconnecting Alan's beloved gaming PC, the one bought with a fraudulent credit card in my name. I packed it carefully in the original box. Rory looked torn between loyalty and doing what's right. I told him he didn't need to touch that part. He shook his head, took the box to the truck, and muttered that Alan needed consequences. By 7 p.m., most of my things were out. We ate celebratory pizza on the floor of my new place, exhausted and relieved. This morning, we went back to finish up. I deep-cleaned not for Alan, but so he'd have nothing legitimate to complain about, packed the last items, and arranged what I was leaving behind. On the kitchen counter, I left. Divorce papers filed, but not yet served. A folder with evidence of financial fraud, including proof the PC was purchased using a card in my name. A USB drive with recordings of his verbal abuse. A note. Go find someone better from your couch. I already found someone myself. I didn't take everything. Most of the shared furniture stayed. I photographed every room in case he lies later. I don't want pettiness. I want what's mine and a clean exit. Doing all this at 8.5 months pregnant was brutal. By the end of day 1, my back was screaming, and this morning my hands were so swollen I could barely grip. But adrenaline and the knowledge I was finally breaking free kept me moving. Once safe in my new apartment, I called Alan. No answer. I left a voicemail telling him not to go looking for me at Anne's, that everything he needed to know was on the kitchen counter. I texted the same, blocked his number, and emailed his parents explaining we were separating and why, so he couldn't spin a story. Within an hour, my phone lit up with unknown numbers, his friends. I didn't answer. Anne, who's close with his mom, confirmed to her that I was safe and that Alan had treated me terribly during the pregnancy. His mother cried and apologized for her son, unexpected, but oddly healing. According to Rory, Alan came home early after my message. He lost it when he found the empty apartment and the paperwork, and he started calling everyone we know, cycling through anger, confusion, and sudden promises to fix it. Several of his friends reached out to support me. Turns out not all of them were laughing along. Many were uncomfortable, but silent. One admitted they'd confronted him months ago, and he called them whipped. Another stopped inviting us to couple events because he couldn't stand watching how Alan treated me. I wish they'd told me, but it's a relief to know not everyone thought his behavior was normal. As for me, I'm exhausted but relieved. The new place is small and bright, with a park nearby and a little balcony where I've already set a chair for morning coffee. The hospital is 10 minutes away. I've changed emails, created new socials, set up mail forwarding, and told work my coworkers have been incredibly supportive. Baby is due in just over 3 weeks. My doctor thinks she might arrive a bit early. I'm scared and excited. I know the hard part isn't over. The divorce will likely be ugly. Alan doesn't lose gracefully, but my lawyer is confident given the documentation. Regarding parental rights, yes, he'll have them unless he voluntarily relinquishes. Unlikely. We're preparing for co-parenting with strict boundaries. I'm realistic he'll be inconsistent at best, but my side will be stable. I'm continuing therapy. I refuse to carry this trauma into my daughter's life or future relationships. Thank you to everyone who supported me. Your encouragement helped me leave when I hesitated. I'm still afraid of the unknown, but for the first time in years, I feel hopeful. Edit. Same day. Alan emailed, since he's blocked, saying he's going to Anne's to talk and that I'm making a huge mistake. Anne told him I'm not there and she'll call the police if he shows up. I documented this in case I need a protective order. Update, next morning. He showed up at 11 p.m. anyway. Anne didn't open the door. A neighbor recorded him yelling and pounding for nearly 10 minutes. He left our wedding photos on her porch with a note. I threw away everything we built. The irony isn't lost on me. This morning he emailed again with a sudden apology, promising therapy and change and to be a better father. The old me might have wavered. The new me recognizes a manipulation attempt from a man who's lost control. The entire message was about him, his feelings, his wants, with zero acknowledgement of how he harmed me or our child. I didn't respond. Per my lawyer, all communication goes through her now. Today, I'm setting up the nursery with Anne and resting as much as possible. Baby girl is extra active, as if she knows we're finally safe. TikTok keeps feeding me signs he truly loves you videos. I just laugh. For 5 years, I confused control with care and convenience with love. Never again. Last update, it's been 2 weeks since my previous update, and the dust from the relationship detonation is finally settling. Those 41 voicemails I mentioned? I listened to all of them, and wow, it's a masterclass in manipulation. Messages 1 ton of 5. Pure rage insults, and you ruined my life threats. 6 to 12. Victim mode sobbing about his family, turning on him, and sleeping at the train station. 13 to 20. Rewriting history. We were perfect, and the car incident was a misunderstanding. 1:21:30. Bargaining promises to make it up to me, introduce me properly, repay the wedding gift. 31 to 41. Desperation, more crying. Please call, I have nowhere to go. The last one, at 4:37 a.m., was 2 minutes of breathing and sniffles. I didn't respond to any. Instead, I met Monica for coffee as planned. She's even lovelier off duty. We talked for 3 hours. She filled me in on the family fallout. Raul has been cut off, not just financially. Yes, his parents were still helping with rent despite his solid tech job, but emotionally. His dad told him he isn't welcome at family events until he shows real remorse and changed behavior. He tried to crash Sunday dinner and was turned away at the door by his mother, who quoted something about reaping what you sow. He's been trying to smear me as unstable and manipulative, but no one's buying it, especially after the wedding gift truth came out. Monica made sure everyone knows what he did. Apparently, he'd been the golden child. My visit was the first time his parents saw undeniable proof of who he really is. It was painful, but clarifying. Gina, the bridesmaid ex, also reached out. She apologized, said she had no idea about me, and turned Raul away when he tried to stay over. We've exchanged a few messages. It turns out he was feeding each of us a different story. As for me, I'm okay, better than okay. There are moments of sadness. 8 months still count. But mostly, I feel free-like. I narrowly escaped a relationship that would have ground me down over years. Yesterday, I received a package from Monica and Stanley, a handmade journal with a note, for our new friend who helped us see clearly. Look forward, not back. I cried grateful tears. Raul stopped calling a few days ago. Monica says he's crashing with a gaming buddy and telling people he dumped me because I was too needy. Classic last-ditch face-saving. A few practical notes people asked about. The wedding gift. Monica and Stanley insisted on reimbursing me for both versions. I refused at first, but we compromised. They're covering half, and they invited me to join them for the tea ceremony in Kyoto next spring as their guest. Finances. Recreating the gift wiped my savings, but I've picked up extra freelance work and should be back on track in a couple of months. Worth every penny for the look on Raul's face at his parents' house. Safety. I changed my locks, even though he never had a key, and installed a small camera by my door. No sign of him. Dating. Nope. My heart needs a reset. Last night, I sat on my balcony with the new journal and wrote about how we often see what we want to see in people. The image lingers long after reality has changed. Relationships can be like that too. Sometimes we cling to the idea of something that's already gone. I'm not rushing into anything new. I'm focusing on myself, appreciating what I have, and remembering that even when everything feels overwhelming, there's always a way forward. P.S. This truly is my final update on this. A few have asked if I've heard more from Raul. Not really. Just a random thinking of you text I ignored. The space between us is finally peaceful, and I'm keeping it that way.